think it's aliens? I don't know. Do I think it's aliens and all that business? I don't know. I don't know about all that. I don't know. But, you know, I've seen some shit. I've seen some shit. And I don't know, we have all these earthquakes. Everywhere around the fucking world's having these earthquakes. People are starting to go fucking crazy. Like, maybe they're onto something. I don't know, man. But they're all fucking dead. But a lot of them ended up here. And a lot of the town folk didn't want them buried here. Town folk. I'm talking like a fucking idiot. Sorry for your cameras. Sorry. Sorry. They didn't want to bury it here, you know, but they have a right. They have a right to be here. But I don't know. Yeah, I've seen some shit. Hey, I don't really want all that up on the camera, on your shit. Yeah, well, it's all coincidence. I'm sure. Chalk it up, But no. I don't want you to. You can have me talking about the cult and shit like that. That's fine. But I'm not here to talk about my extraterrestrial experiences. None of this. You know. It's starting to rain. I don't know if you noticed. We should probably get the fuck out of here, right? What's up?
When I arrived in Wolfeboro, New Hampshire, it seemed like any lake town in America, suffering both from the end of the busy season and the wave of earthquakes that had been crippling tourism to such communities across the nation. It seemed like any old town until you hear the locals discuss this man, Adrian Aldridge, and the bizarre cult he led to their deaths in the spring of 2020. With his outspoken stories of alien abductions and them somehow being linked to earthquakes, seems to have a lot of residents of this town thinking maybe he was onto something all along.
Yeah, this is a little better than being in the rain, I suppose, huh? So, my name is Bruce. I'm a radio personality in this area. And a few years back, right around 2019, 2020, during the COVID pandemic, right before that hit, I was working with the local news station, doing some stories here and there. And I got assigned to go to a local artist's house. He was going to be doing an exhibit at a local gallery. They just wanted to get a little piece on the news to, to pump it up. So I went out there and I filmed, and I got a lot of nice shots of this man's paintings, really nice artwork, very impressive work, honestly. But then the interview with the man, this was Adrian Aldridge, the interview just got bizarre. He started really talking about, the earth is going to change and he's ready. Am I ready? And things like that. And I just kept my cool and packed up my shit and got out of there. And right around, later that week is when COVID shutdowns and things like that began to happen. And so the art exhibit got canceled. So we never ran the piece. And I just held on to that footage. It's never been aired. Now, fast forward about maybe 2 months after we filmed that interview is the day the bodies were discovered.
I mean, they've always been kind of shut-ins. And it was like, once COVID hit, like everybody was kind of isolated in their own way or another. And so I forgot all about them for a while until they found a bunch of dead bodies in their house.
Do you remember the day they found the bodies?
I do. It was, I think it was a Monday or Tuesday or whatever. I driving to work one day and see all the cops around and wondering what the fuck's going on, and hear Jack at work saying cops heard about something about a family member upstate wanted to do a welfare check, and so they called the cops. Cops went there, no one answered, and they go inside and they're all just killed themselves. Fucking sickos. Ugh, I fucking hate weird neighbors. I'm glad they killed themselves. Fucking pieces of shit. But world's better without them.
And I happened to be in the area on the day that call came through, so I went over to the crime scene to poke around, see what I might be able to find out and report. And I got a lot of information. I have a friend on the police force who I've continued to have a discussion with about this case. I was pulled aside by the lead investigator of that case and asked to keep whatever I'd found out that day kind of to myself. They just didn't want to jeopardize the investigation. They didn't want to cause any unnecessary public uproar,
They told me they were coming. They came to me and they spoke. It wasn't all clear. However, it was clear. I think we'll know when, because things they're gonna shake. We'll know when it starts to shake. And it's gonna come from underneath. It's gonna be magnificent. And when they came, I felt a profound sense of calmness like I've never, ever felt. They're gonna repurpose the earth. They're gonna sow new seeds. It's gonna be magnificent. But it may frighten people. My family, we're ready. We know. We know. And we're ready.
Many people in this area claim to have experienced alien encounters and abductions. I needed to know what sorts of phenomena people around here have experienced.
I haven't seen anything myself, but the way that people talk about it around here, there obviously has to be something to it. My mother's always talking about encounters that she's had with, unexplained beings and stuff like that. They usually just appear to her in the form of like beams of light or something. Just in her bedroom, they've woken her up. Whenever she recounts the stories, she's very she's almost happy to to have witnessed something. She's never usually scared. Like obviously it scares her to like be startled awake or whatever, but then generally speaking, she's always delighted to tell me that she saw something else.
Me? No, because I'm not a fucking idiot. But the second ex-wife, cunt number 2, always told me this story about right after prom seeing a bunch of lights. And I said, no, that was just the lights of the trains that were getting run on you. And she didn't really like that very much. So she used to fucking get violent with me. But she was the crazy one talking about seeing fucking lights in the skies and aliens and bullshit. But that brings me to the first wife. She had some ideas. I mean, cunt number 1, she was called cunt number 1 for a reason. She was top-notch cunt territory, like almost ceiling-like. But yeah, she had some conspiracy theories about, oh, the earthquakes are coming and then everything's gonna turn cold and everybody's gonna freeze to death or we're gonna go into another ice age. And I was like, shut the fuck up. The only ice that's happening around here is the ice between me and you. Kick rocks, bitch.
No, I see. Personally, I guess I said I've seen some shit, but mostly just some lights, things like that. That's why I said you can chalk it up to a coincidence. I will say my older brother, last year he lost his longtime girlfriend, the love of his life, and he took it really hard. Obviously, he went through it. He hit rock bottom very much so, and I remember him talking to him on the phone and him telling me that he felt some visitors. It wasn't like a physical abduction, but more of a psychic hostage takeover of his mind. He said they just conjured up all the worst of his thoughts and turned them against him, and it scared the shit out of him. And he cleaned up his act since then. He's really he's sobered up. He's doing great, dealing with his grief. But there's something there. He experienced something. I don't know what it was, but he said he experienced a missing chunk of time in a day that he felt his brain just went through a toaster. You know, he's a trustworthy guy, and I believe what he says, and I believe he believes that he went through something alien, and that's what Adrian Aldridge said in the interview. He said the earth will shake. The earth will shake, and people, that was stuff that they would say, they would write and put out there. And so a lot of people think, well, maybe they were onto something, of some sort of prophecy about the earth shaking and these aliens. And
do you ever think, considering all of the recent earthquakes and other odd occurrences, that maybe Adrian Aldrich was onto something?
Yeah, maybe fucking drugs. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to believe. Like, clearly these people are, seeing something. Like, most people won't lie to you, but I do think that people do love to attach meaning to things that they think they saw, and that might that might say more about them than it does the actual situation. But who knows, man? I used to work with one of their daughters. I can't think of her name, but she was a bagger at the grocery store in town, and yeah, I mean, seemed normal enough. There was definitely a vibe of like maybe trouble at home, but she was pleasant enough to everyone. Yeah, I do remember one time her father came in and he was very upset. He just he was clearly upset. He didn't like yell or anything, but he made her follow him outside, and I saw them have some kind of exchange in the parking lot. But she didn't really say anything about it when she came back inside. She just said it was like a family emergency. But it didn't seem like a family emergency. Like you don't yell at your daughter during a family emergency, So like, what's up with that?
oh, you got to go talk to Chuck. I'll connect you with Chuck. Well, His son went missing a few years ago, and he insists that the Aldridges had something to do with it. So he'd be worth talking to. He's a fun character. I'll connect you guys.
They had something to do with it. I fucking know it. Fucking weirdos. Fucking he used to run around here, and they'd be fucking peeking out their windows and shit. So I know they've been watching him for months. And then all of a sudden they all fucking kill themselves. I have no answers about Timmy. My house is falling apart. This is bullshit. So after the third divorce, during the winter that year, went up and I tucked Timmy into his bed, said goodnight, go downstairs and I start watching the hockey game. About 12 beers later, hockey game's just about over, we're losing, so I'm pissed off. I go upstairs just to make sure everything's good, and Timmy's not there. And I remember everybody in town talking about this family. Just a bunch of fucking weirdos. And I know that they had something to do with it, because they're all involved with aliens and whatever else, and I don't know. Haven't been able to find him since. Cops can't find him. He just disappeared. Don't know what the fuck happened. So, now, just drinking my life away, hoping that family got what they deserved. Hopefully, they got what they deserved. But now that they're fucking dead, who gives a shit as far as everybody else is concerned, but not me. Miss him very much. Life took short. And my fucking cunt ex-wife, the third one. Jesus Christ. That bitch, just like the cops, just doesn't fucking give a shit. Stupid drunk whore. Bunch of crazy people thinking fucking something's gonna come down and kill us, and who the fuck thinks like that? Just fucking live your life, be a fucking drunk, go do drugs if you like, I don't give a shit. Why would people fucking think, oh, I'm gonna go kill myself and something miraculous is gonna happen? I don't get it. That's why I live a simple life without my Timmy. So, had to get up off the couch so you guys could actually come in and see the damage.
These bodies were in a bad state of decomposition. They had been in that house rotting for probably 4 weeks before they were found. Due to, COVID shutdowns, a lot of people were just keeping them themselves in general. So a lot of people in the town didn't even notice that they hadn't seen the Aldridge family at all until, the call came through that something was off, nobody had seen them, and police went and discovered the bodies. Now, as I said, they were badly decomposed, and they never took the time to identify the bodies, which has me suspicious that possibly Adrian Aldridge is still out there, and maybe pulling the strings of some of the more bizarre occurrences we're seeing in this area and local areas. I know that's far-fetched, but I just can't shake that vibe. Can't shake it. I don't think he's dead.
Who will follow? I don't know. However, there will be followers. There will be. We're ready. Question is, are you? And you can be part of this in many ways. You can be part of this. The earth is going to change. It's going to be better. Better for everybody. And you may miss some people that you love. You may find people that you love. There may not be any people at all.